Packed house as always, not the same numbers that Arsenal drew to Wembley Stadium in their previous two Champions League campaigns, but a much different feeling. Most of the Arsenal players have become familiar with the strains of the Champions League anthem over the last 3 seasons, but haven't quite been able to cope with the strains of the competition. Arsenal were Lazio's first ever European opponents. They paid good money to be regarded as Champions League favourites. £60 million during the summer alone, gambled on just 3 players. But Arsenal, with 2 wins already, as many as they managed in either of their previous campaigns, suggesting that they've learned the ropes now. They're convinced the return to Highbury will be a factor, and that was why it was vital that they fueled that conviction with a victory here last week. It's ironic thinking back 30 years to that first game for Lazio against Arsenal, as we look at the cordial handshakes here, that inaugural night ended with a brawl at the official post-match banquet. Well, let's take a check on tonight's competence. No chance for Arsene Wenger to rest anyone ahead of Sunday's summit with Manchester United. Patrick Vieira, who will miss that game through suspension, returns along with Tony Adams this evening. Enough added insurance for that gamble on 3 forwards. Bergkamp supporting Kanu and Henry. Robert Pires is injured. Oleg Luzhny is preferred to Lee Dixon at right back. The world's most expensive player, Hernan Crespo, and the world's most expensive goalkeeper, Angelo Peruzzi, are both nursing injuries back in Italy. But Lazio's other recent acquisition, Claudio Lopez, is back in the team. One of 3 Argentines, with Simeone and Veron in the engine room. Even the understudies, Marchigiani in goal and Inzaghi, the youngster, in attack, are Italian internationals. 9 internationals on the substitutes benches too. Lazio have a former Middlesbrough leading goalscorer and a former Crystal Palace manager, Fabrizio Ravanelli and Attilio Lombardo, amongst their substitutes. The referee is one of the most experienced in Europe, Garcia Aranda from Madrid. The weather isn't very Spanish, but Ron, the outlook for tonight out there in the middle is very hot indeed. So many great players on view.
Yeah, I think we're going to see one of the great games, and that particularly we saw a lot of this guy last year, Claudio Lopez. He'll play just off the front off Inzaghi, but I think he'll get a free roll. I think he'll be allowed to float from side to side, make runs from deep positions, and that's where the recall of this man is so important, Tony Adams, because they will be coming at him with pace, and it's up to him and Keown particularly to keep the focus when the attack-minded Arsenal are going forward.
Home sweet home. The 4 games at Highbury so far this season have produced 4 Arsenal wins and no fewer than 18 goals in total. Whatever happened to boring Arsenal? This won't be boring, I can assure you. Thierry Henry tangling with Nesta. Vieira. Free kick has gone Lazio's way. Nesta, who is the club captain in their double winning season last year and then went on to play superbly for his country in the summer. Luzhny against Nedved. Back as far as Claudio Lopez. Parla coming between them. Seaman's clearance hanging in the wind. Kanu. Dispossessed by Nesta. Left back is Pancaro. Veron back to Diego Simeone.
Just having a look what particular role Dennis Bergkamp's going to play. You know, we assume he's going to play behind the front 2, even 3. At the moment, he's playing on the outside right position. Now, I just wonder whether his responsibility when they lose the ball will just be to fill in holes anywhere he's round the play.
Adams, who has the responsibility for leading Arsenal tonight. Here is Bergkamp drifting out to the right-hand side, feeding Ray Parlour. Inzaghi. Nedved. This is Negro. Stankovic. Won by Vieira. It is Henry. Little isolated over on that left-hand side. He's looking for a free kick from Negro, and he got one. Sinisa Mihajlovic there is wearing a protection for a facial injury that he picked up in Donetsk 2 weeks ago. That really is a rather gruesome-looking contraption to protect his right cheekbone.
You would also think that Arsenal may try and put some pressure on him with the aerial stuff, get the big guys on top of him and see, test his courage.
Silvinho to test him out. Vieira with a header on, but misdirected.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of a different type of game from Vieira as well tonight. You know, I think he'll play the role that eventually I think he'll play for France, and that is the absolute anchor man. Because with so many players, Ljungberg can run forward, Parlour likes to run forward. It's very important that somebody sits and protects the two central defenders.
Vieira certainly will be fresh, fresher than he would want to be because of that domestic suspension. He's played just 2 games in the last month, both in this competition. He completes his domestic suspension on Sunday. Silvinho. Picked off by Negro, but it runs loose for Kanu. Ljungberg is supporting Henry down that side, but Nesta is across.
Well, the early signs are certainly, I mentioned about Bergkamp a few minutes ago, looks very much as if he's just going to play as an orthodox attacking right-sided midfield player. Obviously, in the last third of the pitch, you'll be looking from this sort of situation to dive across.
Oleg Luzhny playing in his favoured position of right-back for only the 3rd time this season for Arsenal. He's been a makeshift central defender in the main. Bergkamp has given it away to Veron, but won it back. And then given it away to Negro.
Who would have thought that from Bergkamp? Wins the ball and gives it away twice in the space of a second.
He's starting a Champions League game for the first time this season. Just 25 minutes of football in Arsenal's 2 opening matches.
When you talk about systems as well, Clive, I mean, it's very hard really to pinpoint what particular system they will play, Lazio. I think the only thing you can say is Inzaghi will definitely operate as a solo striker, and then the rest of them will be very fluent. Claudio Lopez will float from side to side, Nedved will dive infield.
Ray Parlour, driving run, couldn't drive it past Veron though. Cleared by Pancaro. Adams neatly for Silvinho. Took on a little bit too much. Veron. Simone Inzaghi. Play behind Claudio Lopez. This is the younger of the Inzaghi brothers. It's his brother Pippo, who's the fixture in the Italian national side and who has been to the final of this competition with Juventus. Inzaghi is nearly 3 years younger, but they're really footballing twins. They're very similar, off-the-shoulder, predatory type strikers. Kanu. Winning the corner kick from Mihajlovic.
A little bit of interchange there. Kanu goes out to the right-hand side. Bergkamp dives through the middle. And they've had an opportunity to test this fellow, Mihajlovic. Jerry was talking about him beforehand. He had a nightmare, didn't he, in the European Cup. And I think certainly free kicks and everything, first class. Set plays, but as a defender, a lot to be desired at this stage of his career.
Silvinho will whip this one in with his left foot. Both Adams and Keown are forward from the back. Two central defenders have stayed forward. Parlour looking for Adams. Keown has made a burst into the box, and that spells problem for the opponents these days. Held it up well for Kanu. Just drifts past challenges as if they're not there. But the final ball was disappointing. Look at the control from Veron. And the early pass, which has freed Inzaghi. David Seaman is alert.
I just wonder, you know, it looks to me as if there's a bit of a wind behind the Lazio team. That could in effect favour the Arsenal, because a lot of the through balls could run on, as we've just seen there, onto Seaman. That's a foul.
Pancaro's left arm crashing into the back of Dennis Bergkamp's head. In towards Henry. but it just drifted away from him, and the swirling wind is a problem this evening.
That was unlucky though, a bit of bright inventiveness from Bergkamp and Henry. They both switched on, unfortunately the ball just didn't make.
Veron, cut out by the energetic Ljungberg. Here's Bergkamp, early in towards Kanu. I think Henry was almost trying to get out of the way of that. Simeone a little bit loose. Henry, Ljungberg is wide. Simeone is covering. Pancaro to Veron. Looking long towards the pacey Claudio Lopez, but the pacey Silvinho gets in front of him. That'll be a real leg race if those two get on their bikes, the Brazilian and the Argentine.
For the game, you know, we've just seen an example of it there. I was talking to Ravanelli about, and he was full of Veron. He said, when Veron plays, we play. And I think it's very important that Arsenal don't let him pick passes off like they've just done there.
Nedved to Pancaro. Inzaghi looking for Nedved, cut out there by Keogh. Luzhny finding Bergkamp. Kanu dropping deep.
You know what we've got here, Clive? We've got a real European match. This is what European football was built on. Great sides, great players, exciting crowds, big tensions, and I tell you,
Nestor on Bergkamp. Grappling on the edge of the penalty area.
Well, then he was a bit like that in the World Cup, Nestor, in the European Cup. He was very tight against opponents, always prepared to have a little grapple, and
that's almost part and parcel of defending in Italy.
You know, I'm just wondering here, it must be when they're practicing free kicks, they've got that many to love a dip from here.
Now, who's at the front of the queue for this enticing free kick? Bergkamp, Henry and Silvinho are the contenders. 3 Arsenal men in the Lazio wall. It's Dennis Bergkamp, and it strikes that wall, and Simeone is able to clear. Nobody upfield for Lazio. Came off the head of Mihajlovic, who was less than convincing there in the air. Pancaro. Claudio Lopez is offside. Went all the way with Valencia to the final last year, scoring against Lazio in the quarterfinals at a time when his move to the Italian side had already been rubber-stamped. Simeone showed too much of that to Vieira. Neither of those two are going to pull out. This is Silvinho. Now Ljungberg. Henry is pulled wide. Bergkamp and Kanu wait in the centre, and they'll wait for the corner. Arsenal almost picking up where they left off against Shakhtar Donetsk in the exciting dying moments a week ago.
We've got a big advantage, of course, or an extra advantage today that the skipper's back. We all know how dangerous he can be from set plays. Interesting to see Mihajlovic picking him up.
It's in towards Adams, and it came off Mihajlovic. Marcagiani is able to claim it. Not a great deal that Mihajlovic knew about the block that he got on Adams' miss-hit shot.
Clever corner, good connection, good block.
Pancaro. That's a teasing cross which David Seaman deals with. Adams got a better connection than I'd first thought there. It was goal-bound too. Henry to Kanu. Vieira. Bergkamp now drifting out to the left-hand side. Luzhny. To nobody in particular. Bergkamp will try to retrieve it. Ljungberg. So much pluck and self-belief about Freddie Ljungberg's play.
Yeah, he's a little terrier. I actually prefer him on that side when he plays on the left-hand side of midfield. Remember the night we saw him destroy England in Stockholm from there? Sometimes I think when he's on the other side, he has a problem beating people.
It's almost exactly 2 years ago, and his move to Arsenal came the following week. Arsenal asking all the early questions. Keown in towards Kanu. Nesta reaching over him to clear. Nedved. Just caught by Vieira.
Yeah, he's treading on toes, Patrick Vieira. As soon as the ball bounces, he's in, and, you know, that's his job. Nothing particularly malicious with this. He's got to the ball, and I think Nedved's made a bit of a meal of it. But, I mean, I think that's the temperature of the game. Nobody's got time to take a touch on the ball at the moment.
Arsenal season started 3 weeks before Lazio's. Their opening day defeat at Sunderland is the only blot in either copybook to date. Lazio have had 5 games in various cup competitions, won 4, drawn 1, averaged 3 goals a match. Not a spot of rust to be seen on them. This is Ljungberg.
Shirt pulling. Stankovic had a little tug at the back of his shirt there.
Simeone tried to chest that down. Luzhny just tosses it forward. Bergkamp putting Mihajlovic under pressure. Quite a famous encounter between those two at the last World Cup finals, when Dennis Bergkamp appeared to stand on Mihajlovic's chest.
You don't reckon that's why he's worn that thing, so you don't recognise it?
Ljungberg.
It looks like something had the Phantom of the Opera in it, doesn't it?
Interesting that the referee who missed that night is the referee who's in charge tonight. Veron. Nedved. Pankaro. Here is Mihajlovic. That left foot of his really is a wand. But Arsenal looks solid so far, as well as inventive. Vieira. Henry. Held up by Stankovic. Feeds Kanu. Ljungberg to his left, but Veron came between them. Just a little bit too much weight on Vieira's pass. Veron's pass perfectly weighted. Stankovic now to Nedved. Pankaro arriving in support. Given away. 4 Lazio players out of the game.
See, from here, Vieira had it there. I'd like to see him play one in behind the left-hand defender and let Henry get on a run. I think they've got to try and mix it up a little bit, Arsenal. They'll get a chance to put things behind the defence and let Henry use his pace, and then mix it up and play short into Kanu and Bergkamp. But at the moment, doing well.
Unlike the Italian national team, which played with 3 at the back, Nesta is just playing with 1 central defensive colleague, Mihajlovic, here. It's a back 4. Kanu. And maybe Henry can get beyond them. Silvinho. Henry pulling wide.
See, he's going to have that little problem when he has it to feet to try and take people on, because they do get around the ball in packs, Lazio. Talk about double banking on full-backs and wingers. There was 3 of them at him there.
Ljungberg has made progress down that left-hand flank. Headed by Pankaro. Vieira. Keown. Now Luzhny. Parla. Picked off by Simeone. Keown just caught Inzaghi. Lazio quick to get on with it. Veron to Stankovic, young Yugoslav international. Driven in towards Inzaghi, who has his brother's propensity for winning free kicks, as well as scoring goals.
Yeah, I thought on the last free kick, Martin Keown was virtually crying foul before the ball reached him.
There's the coach on the left-hand side, Sven Goran Eriksson. Swede, who was under pressure when Lazio were beaten 5-2 at Valencia in the quarter-final last season, but his answer was to take the club on to win a league and cup double in Italy, and once again he is one of the most sought-after coaches in the European game. Nedved, Pankaro, Veron, Nesta, Negro, Stankovic, onto Claudio Lopez. Promising attack as Simeone has made progress into the box, but Tony Adams is over there taking responsibility.
And also using his nous a bit. He's got this habit, Lopez. That's the sort of ball that you've got to try and reach. Just didn't quite make it, but enough to turn their defenders round.
Veron looking over the top for Inzaghi. Keown is the defender. 3 goals in 2 Champions League games so far this season. 9 goals in 11 Champions League games last season. Simone Inzaghi has pedigree at this level. But when Hernan Crespo is fit, he may just go out of the team. The injured players, Peruzzi, the goalkeeper, Crespo, the most expensive player in the world, and Favale, the left-back, should all be fit for the return match in 3 weeks' time, incidentally. Stankovic, Claudio Lopez offside. Wow. It was some finish, but he was flagged.
Yeah, and that was understanding between them. It was tight, it was close, but they've held the ground, they put pressure on the ball with Patrick Vieira, and they've been brave enough, Keown and Adams, and experienced enough. I mean, they've done that, what, 3 million times over the last 5 years.
The Highbury formation arm-raising team winning another medal. Paulo Negro. Stankovic. Tracked all the way by Silvinho. 2 very young and athletic players in direct confrontation over on that far side. Stankovic is just 22. And he's won a corner kick here, which Sinisa Mihajlovic will take. Now, Arsenal have had a lot of tapes of Lazio. They've noticed that they group players around the goalkeeper at these corners, and Mihajlovic whips the ball in to dangerous areas. And Seaman there, under pressure from Simeone, did about as much as he could do.
He actually looks to score, doesn't he, from there with them? Hope that there's enough bodies in the box to prevent the keeper getting at him. He's a very, very dangerous weapon.
Adams up to Henry. Bergkamp against Nesta. So vigilant, those Italian defenders, during Euro 2000, but Nesta maybe had a touch of class which Cannavaro and Giuliano didn't quite have in his use of the ball.
Tell you while this play's developing, I'm just watching Inzaghi.
This one from Veron. This is Canu, away from Mihajlovic, trying to play Thierry Henry in, just came behind him. Henry with a curling shot, and Veron, who made the initial mistake, was able to get back, and Henry curled his shot wide.
Yeah, desperately unlucky there. He wants more weight on this. Good surge from Cano. He's always stumbling. He wanted it in front of him. Has to check back. Tries to throw it over. Marcagiani just can't bring it down quick enough. But I'm just to get back to that earlier point. Just watching. It's going to develop now. Inzaghi, he's having a little jostle all the while with the 2 central defenders, particularly Keown. It's only a slight guy, as you said earlier, but I think he can stand his ground, you know. Gets his body position. He's had it once or twice on Keown. I'm sure if he does it too much, you might get a reducer in him once or twice.
We should have a glossary of terms available with some of your comments, Ron.
I was arguing.
Oh, well, there's a yellow card there for Henry for the handball.
It's silly, that, really. Puts himself on sudden death now. It's a bit silly, that.
Kanu was brave there. Van Bergkamp. Parler available outside of him. Plenty happening to his left, though, including Kanu. Adams is forward in the attack. Kanu goes for glory. It's been almost saved for Europe this season. He's been a substitute in the last 3 Premiership games, but has started all 3 of Arsenal's Champions League games and has managed to dodge the Olympic call to do that, having won a gold medal 4 years ago. Luzhny. Parler has run down the right-hand side trying to stretch Lazio. Instead it's chipped in towards Henry, who is offside.
Yeah, I think the jury's out on Oleg Luzhny. I mean, I was full of him when I saw him play for Kiev. I thought he was a magnificent player, thundering up and down the line. I'd like to see a little bit more of that from him. But certainly at the moment, Lazio have done well in terms of they've stopped both Silvino and him and Luzhny making those darts and bursts down the line.
Pankaro. Well, Bergkamp's got to help out in midfield. He started at the forward point of a midfield diamond at Ipswich on Saturday and had a disappointing first half. Much better when he was moved forward. Much happier, you could tell in his body language. This is Nedved. Stankovic. Sylvain Wiltord started the weekend game with Henry. Kanu came on late. Veron being forced back by Ljungberg and Henry. Didn't lose possession though. Nesta hung up towards Inzaghi, won by Keown, only as far as Nedved. Now Simeone, good use of the ball. Pankaro, control let him down. Ball did go out of play. We have a break in Champions League action for 3 weeks after tonight. So the next football on ITV is Saturday week, England versus Germany, the Wembley finale. Extended highlights, 5:20 with Des on Saturday evening. Details of all ITV's football and much more too on our website, itv-football.co.uk. Lazio's European pedigree is all recent. UEFA Cup finalists in '98. They lifted the last Cup Winners' Cup the following year, then reached the Champions League quarter-finals last season. But they were 2 down in 4 minutes in the first leg in Valencia and never recovered. But they got further than any of the other Italian contenders last season. And they've done their best in the summer to see and raise the other contenders with their extravagant transfer dealings. Ljungberg and Kanu trying to link up. Across comes Pankaro. It is a goal kick.
Fair part of the first half gone already, and they haven't really given Arsenal a sniff of the goal, have they? The one little situation that Henry had when Kanu didn't quite play the pass he wanted. You know, you come away from home, particularly to a place like Arsenal where the atmosphere's red hot, and full marks for them. Although, by the same yardstick, they haven't really had an opportunity themselves yet. But they'll be content with that. They'll be patient enough to know that one or two chances take one.
Game is simmering. It's engrossing rather than explosive.
By the way, apologies to Tony Adams. I missed forgot about his very neat near post glance.
Neither keeper has been really stretched. Free kick, and maybe that was the reducer that Ron was talking about. That was Keown on Inzaghi.
He'll be stretched this time, Seaman. Nothing sure. This fellow will have a dip from here.
This fellow is Sinisa Mihajlovic, one of the most famous free kick experts in world football, Yugoslav international, but he's scored more goals in Italian league football from this kind of position than any other player. Mihajlovic rising over and swinging wide of David Seaman's goal. And just in case you are joining us, he had a serious facial injury 2 weeks ago out in the Ukraine, Mihajlovic, and has got a permission to wear that improvised protection.
It must show the value that Sven-Göran Eriksson thinks of him, though. The very fact that he's got the Portuguese skipper Couto on the bench and won't play him even though he's injured, even though Mihajlovic is carrying that.
Mihajlovic trying to dispossess Kano and does so successfully. Free kick given against Bergkamp.
The older fans will be thinking this is the new Peter Storey playing, won't they? Dennis in midfield. Dennis the Crunch.
Dennis the Menace. Mihajlovic is the masked man. I hope my boy's not up watching. He'll want one. Any accessory to do with modern football, he wants it. Better market those. Veron. Did well to resist Vieira.
Yeah, that's a battle royal in there, isn't it, those two? I must admit, two of my favourite midfield players. I love this fella Vieira. I think he's a great player, but Veron is a magical player.
Foul by Mihajlovic on Kano. Card stayed in the pocket. Vieira has Silvinho free on the left-hand side. What a free kick that is. Silvinho. Header away by Nesta. Might come for Keown! Old golden boots again. First serious save that Markagiani's had to make. And who's it from? Yes, Martin Keown.
Yeah, quite a good effort, but that's the first time as well. Not quite in open play. It came from a free kick that Vieira fed Silvinho in, but that's the first time that either side have got anybody well there. Oh, look at this.
Claudio Lopez trying to get in behind Adams, who did as much as he could. Still Claudio Lopez. Silvinho managed to get a foot to the ball. Adams ahead to the ball. Still Stankovic though for Lazio. Keown missed out. Luzhny didn't. And a handball given against Pavel Nedved on the edge of the penalty area as he tried to control the ball.
That's one of the things Arsenal have got to guard against. They have got more pace. Keown's quick. Tony, in all fairness to him, is not the quickest player. He's a great reader, great anticipator, but he's not quick when people like Claudio Lopez, Inzaghi go at him.
That kind of intimate and intimidating atmosphere which Arsenal just couldn't conjure up at Wembley. Very much a part of the night here. Parlour with a challenge, but it's run for Inzaghi. Adams says he dived. Referee has given a free kick.
I think Tony Adams has done well here to let the referee know. He's dived, but he certainly caught him. I think Tony Adams has done himself a favour, trying to make the point that he has exaggerated the dive.
He has only played one game in the last month, Adams. He's missed 5 in a row since he was injured as England captain in Paris.
And Eriksson will have, let's see this one through first, because they've also got the other fellow that can whack him for Veron.
Or will it be Mihajlovic with the left foot or Veron with the right? Very central. It's Mihajlovic. Well, David Seaman was trying to get across, but if that had been just inside of his post, he wouldn't have got there.
It was a bit closer. That was a bit closer than it looked at first.
He got almost too much swerve on it. Mihajlovic, who was the match winner at Stamford Bridge in March when Lazio ended Chelsea's unbeaten European home record. Silvinho. Adams. Keogh. Offside, Henry.
Just to get back to that point we were talking about with Inzaghi and Adams, you know what? Goran Eriksson, he'll know about Tony Adams' fitness level and so forth, and he'll be saying to Inzaghi and Lopez, work him as much as possible, work behind him, make him twist, make him turn. You see, I mean, he went down in the international match at Paris, didn't he?
On goes Veron, almost fighting his teammate off the ball. Feeds it in towards Simeone, good challenge by Luzhny. Veron though to Nedved. Adams it was who got across and made it difficult for Nedved, who sliced his shot badly.
Good spell for Lazio. Dangerous times this for Arsenal. They've got to get together now, make sure they don't concede anything there. As you say, full marks to Tony Adams there. Made Nedved's job hard.
Canu. Run off it by Leicester. It might come here for Henry. Thierry Henry for Arsenal. Terrific save by Marchigiani. So quickly off his line there as Henry set his sights and looked certain to score.
Brilliant piece of goalkeeping. Have a little look. I think he tries to have a little chip at him there. He's a bit unlucky he didn't get a penalty there. It wasn't a penalty, but Mihajlovic was desperately trying to take his ankles, but that's the first time he's been able to get something behind them.
Bergkamp's with the corner. In towards Adams! And Marchigiani somehow reacts again. Real chance for Tony Adams. Two tremendous stops by the Lazio reserve goalkeeper in the space of a minute. Claudio Lopez out to Stankovic. Lazio on the counter. It's warming up nicely now. Stankovic goes on, eventually caught by Silvinho. Ljungberg brings it away. Bergkamp. Now Parla. Arsenal throw.
All sorts going on in the moment too. Arsenal really hadn't had a chance. In the space of a minute, two smashing opportunities. Full marks though to Marchigiani. Two super saves.
Given away by Bergkamp. A likely source of some wayward passing tonight. But Veron too, sending Mihajlovic into trouble. Canu has come off the worst. Caught in the face. Veron sportingly puts it out of play.
He's got a feeling the header, there they go, they're stretching out, he's overstretched. No blame at all to Mihajlovic. Seen only the ball, he's gone for it, and I mean, the guy's got such long legs, but I just wonder whether the pace had gone off this one a little bit as he's trying to get onto it. But it's still a good stop, he's been focused enough. That's what they want there, they're complaining they wanted a corner for it, another corner.
Well, Adams and Keown have both had sights of goal. Henry has had Arsenal's best chance.
Tell you what, there hasn't been, when you look, you've got so many world-class players on view, there hasn't been the quality you would have expected. There in the half been some tension, isn't it? You could almost cut it, you can almost feel it from here. Nobody gets a chance to settle on the ball. This fella doesn't need a chance, he can pick them up from anywhere.
Nedved in towards Inzaghi, dealt with by Keown. Well, only 4 teams have emerged thus far in the Champions League with 100% records. And Arsene Wenger's Arsenal and Sven-Göran Eriksson's Lazio are two of them. Rangers and Valencia, incidentally, are the other two. Bayern Munich beaten for the first time just last night.
Yeah, I must admit, before the game I thought Arsenal would win this, but when I started seeing their team on paper...
Simeone tried to tuck it into Inzaghi. Instead, the latest from Istanbul is Galatasaray 0, Rangers 0. Stankovic is shown a yellow card.
He's lucky to get yellow there. Tell you what, that's the sort of challenge I can't stand. That is absolute cynical. There's no intention there, nothing else in mind but to stop Silvino's run. All right, you can say an aggressive challenge might cause more damage, but that is blatant and cynical. And in view of those figures you're just talking about, you know, a draw wouldn't be the worst result for either side, would it?
But a victory for either would put them literally within sight of the second phase of the competition. 9 points might just be enough. Vieira into the path of Ljungberg. Oh, the pacey run from the Swede. Negro caught up with him eventually. Some good, honest man-to-man duels all around the field tonight.
I must admit, I didn't think there was any way Negro could win that ball back without fouling him. Super time tackle, but great positive running from Ljungberg.
Keown at the far post, Adams on the near, along with Kanu. Vieira's forward too. Bergkamp in towards Keown, who was just levered off the ball there. In fact, the free kick has gone against him somehow, unless something else was going on.
So this is interesting. You're certainly right. Keown definitely got a little push in as he's going over. Look at there, it is blatant. Pankro's carriage just nudged him off the ball. I can't. They're a bit fortunate there.
Nedved, dispossessed by Vieira, quietly effective in the anchor role in the Arsenal midfield. Here comes Luzhny. Toss rather hopefully in the direction of Bergkamp.
Yeah, his final ball's not been good. He's played a few balls for people in trouble, central midfield, and he's crossing everything. Oh, that could be... He went down there badly, by the look of it.
Caught by Inzaghi. Vieira is one of 4 Arsenal players on view tonight who have played football in Serie A in Italy without ever really making an impression. Here's Parler trying to burst past Mihajlovic. There's almost a question mark against Bergkamp and Kanu and Henry and Vieira because they were unable to hack it or didn't get their opportunity to hack it in Italian club football. Clever break, Claudio Lopez looking for Simone Inzaghi. Where better for Vieira and co to prove their status than against the Italian champions. This is Veron. Paolo with a cracking challenge. Here comes Bergkamp. Played behind Henry. Bergkamp's run was checked, only Kanu up. Oh, Henry's side down there.
Well, he'll be lucky to get away
has
with
already been yellow carded. Now, how will the referee adjudicate that challenge from Dejan Stankovic? I suspect if he didn't already have a yellow card to his name, he would have one now, but he's got away with it.
Not even an argument. Not even an argument.
Very lucky, very lucky. Still on the field.
Nothing sure, he won't survive another one.
Henry in towards Keown, well saved by the keeper, and again Marcagiani managed to improvise as Keown closed in again. I'm not sure that anybody touched the initial free kick. Arsenal pressure is growing. Building to a climax at the end of the first half. Adams attacks this one, Marcagiani sorts it out again. I refer to him as their reserve goalkeeper, but he is a former Italian World Cup goalkeeper, and has only been demoted by the arrival of Angelo Peruzzi for £11 million in the summer.
Good ball into the danger area. It looks almost as if it's an own goal.
It was Inzaghi's header.
He don't normally miss from there, does he? I'll tell you what, it was an excellent ball. Fast whipped into the danger zone.
And Marchigiani was the regular goalkeeper during the double year, and his reward was to be replaced. But Peruzzi is out for the moment with a broken finger.
On the evidence of this, he'll take some getting back as well. Having an excellent game. 3 great saves.
Veron played into trouble. Henry has dispossessed him. This is Parla. Kanu. Arsenal don't want this half to end. Bergkamp has space. Nodded down to Ljungberg! Wonderful, wonderful Arsenal goal to cap a spell of growing pressure. It's Freddie Ljungberg who's made the breakthrough.
Picture goal, beautifully flighty ball, and Bergkamp does brilliant. Just stuns it, and there's a great following, and he's plenty to do when he gets there, Ljungberg, but Kanu measured. I just wondered for a minute whether they thought he was offside. He wasn't, but what a great run and finish from that. Super at the end of some great pressure. Picture goal.
Well, he's gone more than 6 months without scoring for Arsenal. His last goal was against Bremen in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup here last season. But the wait has been worth it. Freddie Ljungberg has put Arsenal in front within sight of the half-time interval, and a goal to talk about throughout the half-time interval. Doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, Arsene Wenger, but deep inside he must be a very proud and a very excited manager. It's the first goal that Lazio have conceded in this season's Champions League. Goal of real quality. Nedved. Arsenal have got to keep their concentration. Pankaro, charged down by Luzhny. Pankaro still has it. Luzhny managed to get something on that. Keown away, helped away by Parla. Simeone. Looks like the last couple of minutes of the game, let alone the last couple of minutes of the first half, as Lazio has stung into a response. Inzaghi climbs, Keown climbs higher, away by Vieira. Bergkamp trying to calm it down, instead gives it away. Juan Sebastian Veron. What a fabulous goal it was.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. But I mean, it's measured. The defender's gone in very, very deep against Bergkamp. Don't underestimate the part Bergkamp's played in it. It's a cunning, a great little stun header, but Ljungberg's still got plenty to do, and he gets a great support from midfield and a super finish. And at the end, you know, it might be poetic, but Lazio never really cleared that free kick that we thought Stankovic was lucky to stay on the field for.
It's not exactly Martin O'Neill on the touchline, is he, Arsene Wenger? But Ljungberg got a thumbs up, and that's about as much of his feelings as the Arsenal manager will show.
The lovely thing from a game point of view is you know that Lazio are going to come back. Whether they'll come back and score a different kettle of fish.
Stoppage time, there will be just one extra minute. Claudio Lopez. Negro couldn't gather it, but it's run for Nedved. Stankovic free on the right-hand side. Terrific cross from Stankovic, and Inzaghi, I don't know whether he saw it late, but he had a chance there.
I think if it had been coming in on a deeper run there, behind the ball, I think he'd have had an easy knock-in.
This is Pankaro. Keown away. Henry. Arsenal can't afford to lose it there. Simeone. Veron. Headed by Silvino was brave. Stankovic again, it was who went crashing in. Ljungberg up to Kanu. Vieira is the furthest man forward. Almost hesitant to be so. It built and built to a